Hi everyone, this is the demo for the Nightwatch. Nightwatch is an autonomous SRE agent that continuously monitors containerized infrastructure, detects incidents from live logs, reasons about the dependency between those incidents, and safely remediates failures using Gemini 3 Pro as its reasoning engine. For testing, I have built a small yet realistic multi-service platform called Clipper. It basically uses Postgres, Redis, S3, and Mailhog all running as Docker containers for its own infrastructure. I have also used Docker level chaos commands to break the system the same way the real infrastructure fails. So we can, imitate how Nightwatch would kind of fix this platform by using its reasoning engine. So let's get started. As you can see, it is already running. It is monitoring all the containers and it is in a remediate mode. There are two modes, remediate and observe. The observe mode just observes the incidents and reports the findings, while remediate mode fixes them as well. It is for the user to choose whatever they want. So let's start by running a chaos utility called cache. It is basically killing the cache container, and we can see that we get error logs uh, that the Redis connection has been lost. And these error logs are then picked up by Nightwatch. It batches these errors so that it can get all the related errors properly without losing on any context. Once it gets these errors, it starts analysis phase, basically trying to identify what incident has occurred, and it uses different tools like list containers and inspect containers. These tools are basically Docker primitive API commands wrapped up in a tool usage for the reasoning engine to have more context over the infrastructure, so that it can ascertain what is working right now, what is not working right now, the health of the containers, and what exists within those containers right now. And as you can see, let's give it some time. So you can see it created an incident graph, basically identifying correctly that cache is the root component which went down and the causal chain which caused the issues downstream for transcoder and for notifier as well. Once the analysis phase is done, it has a feasibility check, basically trying to understand whatever failures are happened right now are feasible or not. Meaning the tool uses like list containers and inspect containers themselves are not sufficient enough to ascertain what should be. They just give an output of what is right now. So what Nightwatch does is it also ingests the Docker compose file to get the holistic view of what the system should look like, what are the configuration limits, capacity limits, so that it doesn't take any kind of guesswork towards the remediation approach. And once this feasibility here is completed, it's straightforward, basically it has to restart the container. That is what the verdict here is. The planning phase would begin, which would basically generate a remediation plan. Let's give it some time. So as you can see, the plan has been generated. The plan is not just a blank restart, it is a targeted plan. As you can see, it understands what went down and how to verify whatever remediation it would provide as well. And once the plan has been generated, there's an internal validation phase, which it basically validates whether all these commands that it outputs are safe or not. Basically, it doesn't have any piping or any execution within the Docker commands, and that it uses safe and non-destructive Docker commands. And if that fails, it triggers a replanning with the failure envelope, having all the context of why the validation failed. Let's approve the plan. Once the plan is approved, it executes the remediation and verification steps sequentially and verifies the output and the system health at the end. As you can see, the incident was resolved. The container that was stopped is now started and it is working perfectly by doing an inspect verification command and just checking whether it is true or false or not. Now let's try and provide it a more You could say set of uh, a complex chaos command, which is basically trying to configure the configuration limits. All right, let's try to cause an OOM issue in the Redis. And what that does is basically we are setting the config max memory of the Redis less than what it is supposed to be. And what we would do is we would go in the UI and we would try to upload a file, and this would cause an upload failed issue. And why is that? Because the Redis queue failed, the video upload failed because the it is out of memory. Now this would trigger you could say a more complex issue for the agent to resolve. It has to understand what the configuration limits are and apply those properly. Now, in case it doesn't know the configuration limits, which are not defined in the compose file, it doesn't try to guesswork around it, and it doesn't fail silently because then the agent process wouldn't work properly. It tries to get that information from the user itself. So the feasibility check is also like you could say questions the user in a way so that it can understand more context and get more information out of the user as to what should be the limits. That prevents it from guessworking any kinds of capacities or limits. Let's give it some time. Yep, an incident graph has been identified. Cache is the root cause because the Redis is out of memory, and that is affecting the API because of all the errors we're getting with the connection refused. And now it checks for the feasibility. Now I have deliberately not put any max memory config or any max memory uh, information in the Docker Compose. So I am basically triggering a feasibility questioning myself to show that here in a demo as well. As you can see, it doesn't know. So it is asking me what is the desired max memory limit and the eviction policy. So I would say 512 MB is the max memory, and eviction policy is all keys LRU. And once it has that information, it would, recheck the feasibility and see, if it is feasible or not to make the remediation a successful step. And yeah, remediation is feasible. Plan starts to generate. And as you can see, it has outputted a very detailed remediation plan. And as you can see here, this plan is a configuration change and not a restart. And let me approve the plan. So Nightwatch has applied the configuration changes, and it would apply the verification steps as well to confirm it is successful or not, and it is. And if you go back into the and we try to re-upload it again, and as you can see, it uploads and it processes it as well. And make Mailhog is basically used as a notifier to get the information, whether the video has been transcoded or not. So I mean, as you can see here, these were two Redis incidents with the same dependency, but very different causes. One required a restart while the other required human knowledge and a safe configuration change. Nightwatch diagnosed both of these from the error logs and the Docker Compose file as well, and it reasoned about the dependencies, asked for information when needed, and resolved the incidents end to end. So this shows that there's a difference between simple automation and an autonomous SRE reasoning. That was all from my side. I hope you enjoyed my demo. Uh, Thank you and have a nice day.